If you're anything like me, you've made the right decision with money every single time. Hey, we all make mistakes, and sometimes it's our credit score that suffers. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 tips, and maybe even a bonus 4th if you stick around, to bring your credit score from a bankruptcy or even low or mediocre to 700 or 740 plus to get you the best interest rate possible on a home loan. Tip number 1, know your credit score. Now, depending on the loan you get, the minimum credit score for most loans that you need to get into a house is 620. However, there are some FHA loans that you can get into for even as low as the 500s, which is crazy. A lot of the credit card and bank apps may give you your score, but it's best to know your full credit report. That way you can spot any derogatory remarks. A derogatory mark could be a collection, a bankruptcy, or a late payment. All of this to say, it's important to know your overall credit health before you enter into the home buying process. Tip number 2 that's gonna bring your credit score way up, and pay attention to this one. Bring all credit balances within 70% of your total available limit. Let me explain. So it helps to know the 5 ways that the credit card companies calculate your score. The first one is going to be your payment history. The second one is your account balance versus your total available credit. The third one is the types of credit accounts you have open. If you have credit cards, auto loans, mortgages, things like that. A variety is better. The fourth one is called recent inquiries. That means if you've been checking your credit because you've been applying for a lot of loans, it can potentially harm your score. And the last one is the total length of your oldest account. They want to see that you have a lot of credit that's been established over a long period of time. Now, the first 2 points, payment history and amount you have on your balances, make up 60% of your credit score. So we're going to focus on those ones. Number 1, when it comes to payments, get your payments current. Now, getting your payments current is the quickest way to boost your credit score to see tangible results even by the end of the month. Because at the end of every month, the credit card companies report the balances to the 3 credit bureaus, who ultimately determine your score. So let's talk about amount of credit you have on your accounts versus the available balance, because this is the second biggest part when it comes to establishing your credit score. The credit companies want to know that you're responsible with your money. The way that you show them that is you keep your balances underneath 10 to 30% of your total available credit. That means if you have a credit limit of $1,000, your balance needs to stay at a minimum $300 and under. To optimize it though, you want to keep it under 10%, which would be $100. That is going to increase your score massively. That is the biggest step that I took to increase my score quickly. You want to show a little bit of balance at the end of every month, because that shows that you're actually using the card, and it's going to increase your score quicker. A cool thing that happens too after this is that when companies see that you're paying off your balance regularly, if you only have a $1,000 limit on that card, a lot of times they'll offer to increase your limit, or sometimes they'll do it without even asking you, and then all of a sudden you have a $10,000 limit. Guess what? That makes it easier for you to stay within that 30 to 10% window. So it's a win-win on your end. I know what you're thinking, the banks play a sneaky game when it comes to credit. If you want to boost your credit score, you got to play by the rules. 3, and you're gonna hate this one because this is the one that everybody hates. Stay consistent. How hard is it to stay consistent? I mean, when it comes to your fitness, when it comes to your diet, when it comes to your finances, it's all wrapped up. The quickest way to success is self-denial. Like my good friend Jocko says, discipline equals freedom. Not everything can be fixed overnight, but with the right consistent action over time, we are gonna eventually get you to the place where you can be approved for a home loan or get the best rates possible, which ultimately saves you thousands of dollars. And what I mean by that is if you have a 700 credit score, which is pretty good, you might qualify for a 6% interest rate. But if you have a 740 and above, they're gonna give you a 5.5 or even a 5% interest rate. And that's gonna save you hundreds of dollars a month on your payment and thousands of dollars in the long run in interest. Now here is bonus tip number 4. If you're coming from bankruptcy like I did, or maybe you've done the Dave Ramsey method and you're a ghost and you don't have any credit, quickest way to enter into the credit world is by going to a credit union, not a regular bank, but a credit union, and getting a secured card. What that is you give the bank $300 and the bank gives you a $300 credit card. Now, after a year, when you've proven yourself responsible with that card, the bank usually gives you your $300 back and increases that limit to about $1,000. And now you're on your way. You will notice that the mail starts to bring you all the pictures from Discover, MasterCard, Capital One, bring you credit cards. It's okay to take 1 or 2 of those if you maintain rule number 2 which is keep your balances under 10% of your total available limit. That is very important. Once you've applied all of these steps and you've boosted your score, you are ready for the third step in buying a home. And that is going to be what you're going to find out in this next video.